Welcome, beautiful souls, to the Matchmaker with Letitia Underwood. I am so thrilled to have each and every one of you joining us today for this special live stream. Today's topic is a truly fascinating one as we dive into the world of relationships and love. We'll be exploring the insights and wisdom from the incredible book Getting to I Do, written by the renowned Dr. Patricia Allen. Dr. Patricia Allen's book is a treasure trove of knowledge, guiding us through the journey of finding and nurturing fulfilling relationships. Her profound insights have touched the lives of countless individuals, helping them navigate the complexities of dating, love, and commitment. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply seeking to deepen your understanding of love, you're in for a real treat today. Together, we'll explore the key principles shared by Dr. Patricia Allen and discuss how they can shape our paths to finding true connection and lasting love. Feel free to engage with us in the chat, ask questions, share your thoughts, and let us know where you're tuning in from. This is a safe space to discuss matters of the heart openly and respectfully. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's embark on this beautiful journey together. Together, we'll discover how you can all get closer to I do and create loving relationships that stand the test of time. Thank you for being here with us, dear viewers and subscribers. Let's make this live stream an unforgettable experience. Now, let's dive into the pages of Getting to I Do and explore the transformative power of love. Alrighty, everyone. So, welcome back to part two of chapter 10, Getting to I Do, No Sex Without Commitment. So, I've already did the first half of that video. And if you've missed it, you can go back and watch it. It's the last recorded video, Getting to I Do, No Sex Without Commitment. So, let's get started. How men test women. Like Neil, many masculine men test the women they are attracted to by seeing if they will mother them physically. What they really need is to meet a woman who will not love them like a giving mother, but will like them as a self centered, receiving female until both parties want sex as a means of bonding and lovemaking and will forsake all other relationships. A man is a man. He is a polygamous animal one minute and a human being the next. He must be required to blend both of these aspects by a woman who is so confident and in sync with herself that she will refuse him sex until she can be certain of his commitment. For it is that sense of security and safety that allows her to surrender to the man who shows her he wants her. I'm sorry, the man who shows her he wants her so much that he is willing to voluntarily give up his drive to have sexual relations with many women. Of course, a man will attempt to cajole, and undermine you when you say no to casual sex. His head tells him that he should not be doing this, but his nature challenges him to push past your resistance to get his needs met. Lust attracts us to someone we may like and ultimately love, but when a man settles for lust alone, he eliminates liking and love. He knows deep inside that the woman he can get into bed with only a little push cannot be trusted as a virtuous, ideal woman to marry and grow old with. He knows that her sense of self worth is so shaky that she can be easily manipulated and used, which in turn causes him to feel disgust or guilt. Or he knows she is attempting to control him through seductive giving. Neither way works. A woman who has given sex only to find that it has made little difference in a man's way of relating to her often feels used and abused and suffers the anger of man hating. The way to avoid feeling confused and damaged is to say no to casual sex unless that is all you want. When you've said no to casual sex and he's not calling you back. If you have said no to casual sex to a man you like, and if you choose to be the feminine energy, you must bite the bullet and wait 8 weeks for him to call you. Remember, A normal, right handed, focused, logical man needs 4 to 8 weeks to evaluate the loss of you. This is a decision of emotional significance involving both left lobe logic, in this case, do I want her enough to call her again, and right lobe feelings, I miss her. She is really a nice, sexy lady. Should I call her again? If he calls in 2 to 4 weeks, it means he was ready for a commitment and needed only to evaluate things a little while. Many men can manage 4 weeks apart from a woman they care about quite easily. If he calls after 6 weeks, which is a crucial time, he has made a rational male decision. As I said before, 8 weeks is critical. If he hasn't called within that time frame, stop waiting and go on to other men and other experiences. So, what happened to Neil and Kathy? As time passes, a man like Neil, who is not accustomed to being turned down by a woman who is obviously sexually attracted to him, must handle certain questions. Question: why was Kathy different from the others? Answer: because she is virtuous, not needy. Question: could I have done something better to conquer her? Answer: maybe, perhaps I'll try again. Question: what should I make of my failure to succeed? A. Answer: discount her. She is nothing to me. Others are easier and better. Or become irritated thinking about her and want resolution. Or call her back in 6 to 8 weeks to try again. Or I realize that Kathy is a good woman and that I will have to surrender and agree to a commitment to get her for myself. If Neil called and asked to see her, he would be signaling that the courtship was on and the dating over. In any case, Neil would almost surely remember Kathy as the one woman who loved herself enough to qualify the buyer, and at some deep level, he will appreciate her virtue. I have found that men do feel guilty about casual sex relationships, but for them, it is a little like eating potato chips. You can't stop with one. Sexual addiction is a problem for men in a world of generous women who manipulate with sex and money to buy a man's love. Also lust. The shark cage. As it turned out, while Kathy was waiting out her 8 weeks, she learned that Neil was having sex with 2 other women. She realized that had she said yes to him, he would have been just another woman. She would have been just another woman in his harem. But Kathy was confused. What kind of man was Neil anyway? He had seemed so nice and sincere. Now she wondered if he indeed called her back should she go out with him. I, Dr. Allen, told Kathy that Neil was just a normal male who withheld data about his private life because he had no obligation to divulge information that would all but eliminate his success with her. The truth was that Neil was tired of some of the other women in his harem and wanted a new one. He talked of wanting an intimate, permanent relationship, but he went about getting it in a non intimate way. That is, genitals first, heart second. Men play on women's fantasies that he loves the same way she loves. He does not. Many women act as though it were a man's responsibility to help a woman be a woman. But a man's nature dictates that he gets his needs met. If a woman wants to give in to him, why shouldn't he accept? If we ask beforehand, we may find out about his other women and take care of ourselves. If we don't ask, if we don't ask beforehand, he will not offer information. Why should he? I often say that masculine men are like sharks, and we must remember that sharks never sleep. They are always moving, looking for their next prey. And little girls must be taught not to go into the water and play with them. Even good divers do not go down unprotected. They use shark cages. You need a shark cage too. You can't trap a shark unless he is sedated. He smells the cage and runs away. At least with my system, we show the cage to the shark up front and invite him in. By the way, Kathy and Neil's story hasn't ended. 6 weeks after he walked out of her apartment, Neil did call her and ask her for a date, thereby beginning their courtship period, which consisted of their getting to know each other without sex until he felt safe enough with Kathy to give up his harem and commitment. The difference between courting and dating. For a man, there is a difference between courting and dating. When he is courting, he has a mindset to mate, to be committed to a long term monogamous relationship that may or may not include marriage. In his mind, courting means he has spotted a woman whom he intuitively knows could be his lover, his wife, and the mother of his children. He is going to win her over with his magnificence like any proud peacock. He is ready to commit before he meets her. When he sees her, he is first drawn to her outward beauty, which looks right to him. He then begins to pursue her with dates, phone calls, and small gestures of affection like flowers, cards, and gifts. Often he does not try to get her into bed too quickly out of deference to her supposed higher morality. He is patient and takes time to do it right. A woman makes a big mistake if, upon dating a man who is slow to make a sexual advance, she asks him if he is gay or becomes the sexual aggressor. Either of these approaches can lead to sex based on her request, which often turns a man off for the long term, or can result in a termination of his romantic, idealized courtship. Aggressive sexual behavior on the part of the woman may produce a purely sexual relationship or even end the relationship. This is because as soon as sex begins, a form of possessiveness begins, based on your mutual minimum knowledge of the other person's true personality. I know it is hard to wait, especially when the physical attraction is strong and you've played everything up to this point by my rules, but you must wait. And a blonde conservative executive secretary was looking for a committed relationship but was having no luck until she came to my seminars. Learned how to flirt and to package and market her femininity, and duty dated as per my instructions. Then she met Greg, a quiet, gentle owner of a bookstore. The first 2 months of their perfect phase went well, but soon Anne became bored with Greg's slow ways. He took months to sexually approach her. Still, at my urging, Anne bided her time and did not ask for more affection, love, or sex. Eventually, they did go to bed together, but did not have intercourse because Greg would not give the entrance fee, longevity, continuity, and exclusivity. For months, Anne and Greg slept together without sex a few times a week. He asked her to meet his family, who lived out of state, and she passed muster with his powerful mom and his gentle dad and brother. Soon after this trip, Greg proposed marriage, and they had sex. Eventually, Anne's patience paid off. Today, she and Greg are happily married and the parents of a baby girl. Greg wanted to mate and took his time finding the right person. But while there are many more men like him out there whose mindset is to court and not date, the problem for most women lies in the fact that from the outside, both the courting man and the dating man acted in the same way. He says what needs to be said to convince you that he is going where you are going, usually towards commitment and marriage. If a man is lying, you will know it in a matter of days because he will feel guilty using you and he will make his real intentions clear. So you will not have lost too much time or energy or gotten too bonded sexually. Psychopaths and criminals can use and abuse for a longer period than normal men, but eventually your intuition will flag you and you get out probably with a wounded ego and much less money. If you're already having casual sex, so you have already let him in, and now you're reading this book and realizing that you made a mistake. What do? First, cross those pretty long legs of yours and tell him that you are going to stop having sex with him until he's agreed to a commitment. Say, I made a mistake. I let our relationship down by giving you casual sex. I'm not going to do that anymore. I understand that you may leave, but from now on, I need longevity, continuity, and exclusivity from you, or that's it. You are saying those words because you mean them and because you want a man who wants the same things you do. Anything less is no longer acceptable. During a workshop in Los Angeles, Jennifer, an attorney, came down to the front of the room and revealed that she was in a relationship with Michael, a successful businessman, and that everything was great except for one thing. Her man would not commit to a permanent arrangement toward marriage and children. What to do? I told her flatly, it's simple. Pull the plug. No more sex. You'll find out soon enough what his intentions are. Jennifer followed my advice and told Michael that she had made a mistake and would no longer be having sex with him without a commitment. With my system, men usually leave quickly or they stay around for a long time, and my success rate of couples who stay together is very high, partly because they both have a clear understanding of what is expected of them before they get bonded. Luckily, Jennifer found out that her man did love her and was ready for a commitment. About a month later, she returned to the workshop with Michael, her engagement ring, and a wedding date. However, not every woman who says no gets as quick or as satisfying a response as Jennifer did. Lisa, a television executive who came to one of my seminars, confided, my boyfriend, Edward, and I, after seeing each other steadily for 6 months, have been fighting a lot lately over commitment. I know that if I don't have sex with him, he'll want to date other women. He says we could be friends and maybe it will work out later. What should I do? I told Lisa that this friendship her boyfriend wants is contact without romance, and that she must say no because seeing him even on a friendly basis keeps the connection going. For her part, seeing him even hearing his voice on an answer machine keeps her bonded. On his part, he gets to use her and other women and keep her available should he want her. I told her that it would be too painful to date him while he is having sex with others and that she shouldn't do it. Often, after you tell a man your requirements, he will hear what you say and walk out the door, and the pain will be intense. You may be unable to eat, or you will overeat, you will talk, cry, and scream. But there is nothing for you to do except wait 8 weeks. Marilyn, a nursery school teacher, had been dating Leon, her architect boyfriend, for 6 years. Although they lived in separate apartments, they hardly spent the night without each other. Marilyn was ready to get married, but Leon wanted to keep the status quo. One day, Marilyn decided that enough was enough. Either we get married, she thought, or we're done. She told Leon that evening, and he did as she expected. He said, you're right, Marilyn. I'm not ready to get married yet, and I don't want to keep you from your goal. The parting was tearful and tender, and both believed their long relationship was over. Marilyn knew that she was doing what she had to do for herself, although the pain was terrible. As the weeks passed, although it was not easy, Marilyn went about her life, trying to make new connections and fill the space their relationship left. She thought about Leon a lot, but began dating other men. Then, to her surprise, exactly 8 weeks after the breakup, he called. I made a mistake, he said. I can't replace you, and I don't want to live without you. Will you marry me? Marilyn was stunned. She never expected that call, but she was thrilled to get it. She accepted Leon's proposal. They have been happily married now for 10 years and are the proud parents of 2 children. Marilyn's story is not unusual. Many masculine, bullheaded men must feel the pain of loss before they realize they want to be married. 8 weeks again. I must emphasize that this is a critical time when one incorrect action on your part can extend your painful bond to the wrong man. So it is imperative that you understand what is happening during this process. As I have said, it takes approximately 8 weeks for a man to process a decision. For 4 weeks, he can usually function at least superficially, dating, working, and living. At first, his left lobe logic says, who needs her? I'll decide how things go between us. No woman controls me. If he is in love with you and not just using you for sex, but didn't know he was in love, somewhere around 6 to 8 weeks, he will miss you so badly he may call and ask to be friends. Don't do it. This rekindles your oxytocin bonding. Don't listen to his voice on his telephone message recorder or on yours. Change the voice on your recording. Have someone else do your message so he can't get a voice fix off of you and be able to stay away longer. Don't taste, touch, smell, see, or hear him, or you will lose the tension between separation anxiety. The tension building separation anxiety. Let the rubber band stretch and stretch. Don't call him for any reason. If you are as patient as Job, you can control your impulsive need to reconnect before 8 weeks. If you call him, you lose and he wins. Sex is all you get, and you learn to hate each other. But if you don't call, as his right lobe feels the pain, he will realize why he hurts. He misses you. No one else can replace you. He must have another chance to be with you, which will lead him to call you and admit that he is in love with you and wants a commitment. However, if he does not call in 8 weeks, it's over. Start duty dating, dress up, get out, and read self-help books. Get on with your get on with your life as a single woman. If you have had a long-term relationship, it might take as long as 2 years to get over him. So don't sit around. A new love will take you away from him. Don't give up. Don't give up on relationships, even if you have an unsuccessful or painful experience. Read this book carefully and learn how to have a successful, committed relationship, then do it step by step. Giving up on love is what many men have done, so they settle for casual sex. Instead, evaluate your objectives, maintain your integrity, your physical well-being, and your emotional balance. Remember, whenever you are tempted to give a man sex before he gives you commitment, I promise never to love a man more than myself for my spiritual sake as well as his. Why should he commit? These days, women claim that men are non-committal. I claim that women are, and allow men to follow suit. Why should a masculine man restrict his bachelor nature to be responsible for an independent woman and her kids? He would rather invest the money in his life, fun, and property as long as he can get sex with minimum costs. Self gratifying, self centered men are dating self satisfied, selfless women who like playing, and dating as much as they do. Many men feel castrated and no longer act like men, fighting and competing for the best sex partner. They have a few challenges other than watching sports events and clawing their way up the corporate ladder, which is currently infiltrated by many women more male than they are. They have been put in suits with leftover nooses, ties, stuck in cars for hours each day to struggle to an office often dominated by a woman so hard and tough she would scare the night stalker. Then after work, the poor guy is asked to make love to the fair maiden and marry her so he can work for her and the kids when she won't even respect him enough to let him lead because she has to be liberated from the domination of men. This is not a pretty picture, and it is one that has turned many men toward an uncommitted life or workaholism. Balance must come back to a fair trade of respect for cherishing. By respectful men and by women who wish to be cherished, let's teach women how to be cherished by first teaching them to cherish themselves. In the past, men felt a moral obligation to marry. These days, men respect a woman's ability to take care of herself and be independent. They to casual sex, see women as equal to casual sex the way they are. Amen. They see women as equal to casual sex the way they are. Therefore, they feel no need to protect us even from themselves. Only when men get hungry for the best woman will they make a deal and settle down. It is the woman's job to set the perimeters for the deal. If we say yes to casual sex, we have assumed responsibility for the results. It is our ability to say no sex without commitment. That is the essence of this book. Okay, so anyone who's known me, right, know what I'm very big on no sex before commitment because I've always said that when you start having sex with a man and he has not committed to you, the likelihood of him committing to you is not very high. Um, Not saying that you can't get to commitment once you start having sex with them, but it's just easier and better that if you start off right than to have to switch gears and then try and then having to deal with the having to deal with letting go if he says no, right? So no sex before commitment. It's In this day and age, I know a lot of women are probably going to be thinking, well, I need to know what if the sex is good. Ladies, you're going to have to move away from that. You're thinking like a man. Remember, casual sex is masculine. You're thinking like a man. Men want virtuous women or the ideal of a virtuous woman. So if you're having sex with him very quickly, very easily, without any principles or boundaries, or even going against your own principles and boundaries, he's not likely to want to cherish you, because now he sees you as himself. He sees you as equal to himself. You're moving like a man, so he's going to treat you like a man, although he is a full blooded heterosexual man. And you can't shame him for it. You can't say, oh, these men are gay. No, these men are getting exactly what is being given to them. You. So it is your responsibility to keep your legs closed until you get what you want, which is a commitment. Whatever that looks like is whatever that looks like. If it's exclusive sex only between the two of you, a committed relationship, or marriage, you keep your legs closed. Don't decide that I'll have sex with this guy and then try to get to know this guy. No. Have a standard principle. If you have been engaging in casual sex, stop. You have the right to change. You have the right to say, you know what? I messed up. I thought that that was the way that I could do it, but I'm not, that it's not working. So I'm going to do it differently, and I'm going to do it the right way. When you start having sex with a man, you start to bond with him. And when that relationship ends, you're feeling down, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling hurt. So then what happens is dopamine has to kick in to make you start feeling good again. Well, the next guy, same thing happens. So then ends up happening is your brain is so used to this cycle that it starts to stop secreting a lot of oxytocin, and it's mostly secretes dopamine. So you're going to get a dopamine rush with a guy. So a lot of women, when they're looking at men or a man approaches them, that's not oxytocin flowing. You have not even had sex with this man, so you don't even know. It's dopamine. You have not spent any time with him, but all of a sudden the first date or first conversation, you're falling in love and you're planning your wedding. You're likely experiencing a dopamine rush, right? Take your time, get to know him over the course of, like, it's okay to take things slow. He just has to be consistent. Does that mean you need to be dating other men while you're doing this? It depends. Are you dating or are you in a courtship? If he's courting you for the purpose of marriage, I would suggest you be with one guy and just focus on him and let it play out. If he's dating because he's not sure if he wants to choose you for marriage, he's not sure if he wants marriage, but he does want to commit a relationship, then I would suggest that you might want to keep your options open. You just need to know, are you courting or are you dating? Courtship is going to be more of a monogamous situation. Dating is, whatever feels right to you. Just don't have sex with anyone who is not offering you a commitment. That doesn't mean you have one guy here for this and one guy here for that and you have all this roster. No, you have men who are approaching you and you are giving each one of them consideration, and you are looking for one of them to make a move towards commitment. I don't really suggest that for younger women, those who are not experienced at dating, because it becomes very convoluted and complicated. Leave that to the experts, leave that to the professional daters, especially younger women. Um, and also women who have a difficult time controlling their urges, right? Their biological urges. If you're likely to have sex, do not have sex. Do not have a multiple men that's trying to pursue you for the purpose of dating. But in any regard, make sure that you are giving the space and time. This is crucial, ladies, because patience is going to be that thing that sets you apart from other women. Now, I'm not saying you need to be patient with an inconsistent man, but you need to be patient with a man who is consistent, meaning he approached you, he's calling, he's taking responsibility for the approach, meaning he's calling you, he's texting you, and you're engaging in the conversation. So you're having conversations about in getting to know each other, and then he asks you out on a date. That should be within the first week. If you're not bi-coastal, if you don't live several hours to where you have to catch a plane, he should ask you out on a date. And if he asks you out on a date, and then in the meantime you're getting to know each other, you're back on the phone, either way, however he's doing it, he is consistent. Even if it's long distance, he's consistent. He's putting in the time and effort. How you will know is that you feel good. You feel good about what he is doing. If you don't feel good, you feel confused, it's just like, I don't know, you feel like you're not getting your needs met, that's not consistency. Now, if he's consistent, but he's just not moving in a way that you want him to move, then you need to check yourself, because now you're trying to be controlling. Just take a deep breath and relax. If the issue of sex comes up, you need to let him know that you're not comfortable, you're not there yet. You only will have sex when you feel like you're in a stable situation, a stable relationship. Like the environment has to be, the dynamic has to be stable, and you feel safe and comfortable. Now he's going to ask you, what do you mean by that? You can explain to him, I don't do casual sex. I want to make sure that I find my husband. And I only want to have sex with a man who is trying to be that, who wants to be that, not even trying, but who wants to be that. So I need to get to know you to see if that's you. Don't tell him, I need you to give me commitment, because these men these days will then say, sure, I want that. And next thing you know, they're ghosts. Tell him, I need to get to know you to make sure that you want that. What's going to happen is he's going to either go hard and give and make sure you to let you know that he wants to be in a committed relationship with you that's going to go the distance, or he's going to start to back away. Now, when he starts to back away, this is where Dr. Allen's advice comes in. You wait 8 weeks. Listen, I know women are like, oh my gosh, why do I have to wait 8 weeks? Because you're not in a committed relationship. He's not obligated to you. He can back away from terms that he does not desire. So if he starts to back away, you're just in waiting mode. You don't call him, you don't text him, and you don't respond to sporadic conversations. If you go a few days without him calling you and texting you, you don't respond to him. It's been 3 days. No need to respond, right? He'll get the message either he's going to start going hard, or he's not. Or he's going to take that time to just take a step back, figure things out, and then he's going to call you. If he calls you after 8 weeks, just know he's playing. Whatever he had going on before is over with, and he's trying to come and see if you're an option again. Give yourself 8 weeks from the time you had the conversation of sex, no commitment with sex, or getting a commitment. And if he backs away, you give him 8 weeks to come back. Now, I would say go ahead and date, but the likelihood of you meeting someone, a lot of you would, some of you wouldn't. It depends on you. But give him the 8 weeks, and if he doesn't call, if he doesn't come back within that 8 weeks, even if it's 8 weeks and one day, close the door, block him. It's over. Again, no, and we call this no contact whatsoever. He can reach out to you, but you are not responding or reaching out to him. Don't look at his stories. Don't like his pictures. Don't respond to him liking your stories. You go completely ghost. You pretend during those 8 weeks that you don't even know him, unless he's calling to tell you he wants to be in a committed relationship. So if you pick up the phone and he says, I'm calling, I miss you, and if he's not starting off with the conversation of, how are you doing, blah blah blah, you get the niceties out the way, and then he says, I wanted to talk to you about what happened last time. He should be offering you commitment by that point. If he's not, in that call and let it go. Because if he's calling you and he has not offered you commitment, he was just trying to get a fix, and he's going to continue that cycle with you. So end it, because the only time he should be calling you is to offer you commitment. So, okay, join me next time for the next chapter 11, which is How to get what you need from a man without ever asking for it. That's going to be a good chapter because women, that I think that's what confounds women the most is I don't know how to get what I want. I don't know. And that's why they're entering all these conversations or have these long lists because you're just simply trying to get what you want without having to ask for it. And ladies, you can get what you want without having to, I mean, making these lists because they're trying to get what they want by asking for it. But you ladies, you can get what you want without asking for it. You don't even have need to have the man having it all right there. So right at that time. Okay. So with that being said, make sure if you are new and watching this video that you subscribe to the channel, like the video and share it. Make sure you leave a comment. I do read the comments and I do respond back. Okay. And with that, if you would like to help the channel grow or offer a love donation to show me your appreciation, I would greatly appreciate that as well. So you can send me a cash up to $the matchmaker or PayPal the matchmaker at twoheartsexclusive.com. And until next time, see you later.